Adeniyi Ifetayo is a media analyst. Good morning, happy new week, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
I had been tempted not to show up, but I said since we had an election in Edo State yesterday, I must show up this morning. I was extremely tired. We had an event yesterday. Yes, it's my pleasure to be here. Let's do this.
So sorry. Thank you for joining us regardless of how you feel. We're really honored. Thank you.
All right, so let's start off, of course, with the Edo election. What are your thoughts? What are your projections? What are your concerns? What did you notice? Let's have you share your thoughts.
Yeah, first and foremost, I thank God that most of the polling unit or center, it went on smoothly. This time around, it's not that people are being chased out with guns, shooting sporadically, people running head casket and all of that. So we thank God for that at least. And secondly, I also appreciate the fact that we had all the results, although some are being contested now. That in at least, let's say, almost after the election, 24 hours after the election, the results were announced. So in terms of logistic, let's give kudos to INEX on that aspect. And another thing that I witnessed or that I saw or had been reported was the issue of course, vote buying, offering bread at the point of people exercising their, franchise, and I'll take bread, have bread, 1,000 bread, those big bread and all of that, and as low as 5,000, 10,000, and it's just a pity that some of the security, they are just, will I say they are harmless, or they are just a dog that does not have tooth. You understand what I mean? So that issue of vote buying is still an issue to be tackled when it comes to our electoral processes, even in Nigeria. And it's a lesson for INEC, it's a lesson for security personnel, agency, and also for our politicians until they begin to make an arrest, prosecute, and let the people, if it is meant to go to jail, so let it serve as a deterrent to others. They know that if you do this thing, you are not going to go scot-free for that. But I also thank God that another thing that happened yesterday, the only thing that is constant is change. And but you can't, cleave onto power and think you'll be there without mentioning names. Someone will say, if I become a godfather, I should be dealt with. But let's leave that. But since INEC have announced now, you can't want to install somebody. Yes, you benefited from that processes, but since you have said you don't want to become a godfather and all of that, so and fighting a traditional institution, I can say in the last 2 years, Edo State generally, they are more divided than united. So I think they have spoken through their vote, and the winner emerged according to the INEC. So it's a good one, at least. Power has shifted to other side. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. Thank you for your thoughts on that. We won't stay too long on that because that's going to be the focus of our conversation, in the course of the show. But I'd like to move your attention to the headline on the Daily Trust newspaper talking about the minimum wage. Labour and federal government sign memorandum of understanding on salaries adjustment. Just over the weekend, I saw the update as to how Labour was talking about how increasing this minimum wage to 70,000 naira now doesn't have any effect based on the current economic reality. And this morning we're getting a report that the Committee on Salary Adjustment, which was just constituted, arising from the New Minimum Wage Act 2024, has concluded its assignment by signing a memorandum of understanding with the federal government. Now, we know that the Labour and the federal government sort of, I wouldn't call it more like a cat and mouse race, where we get to see Labour saying, oh, we've met on this issue. And after a while, they come back again and tackle the federal government for not meeting their side of the agreement. Now, let me get your perspective on this. Considering the fact that just last week there was an update that private employers who pay below the 70,000 naira minimum wage risk jail term. Now, seeing that they've signed an MOU on salaries adjustment, how exactly would these play out? What should we expect from this, and how feasible is this cutting across both government level, government sector, and the private sector?
I would say that it's not visible. I think our government, they should, when it comes to salary adjustment or structure, it should be to what is the reality. They should be sincere with the reality. Every now and then, since they started this negotiation almost a year ago, there was a price where we normally buy fuel, but now it's way different, almost times 2. So I'm sure it's not going to cut across. And they said for private sectors that is paying less than a minimum wage, risk the jail time. Yes, risk jail time. Government are not being sincere, because there are private sector, there are other private sector. I think this thing should be categorized. If they can categorize the amount of electricity that like we have
let me hold your thoughts. Let me hold your thought for a bit. Let me hold your thought for a bit. Let's take Stephen from Benin very quickly. Thank you for calling, Stephen.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Please share your thoughts in 30 seconds.
I want to speak as per the election I was just held in Benin.
Please proceed. We can hear you.
The election was a success because the voters came out to exercise their franchise.
We're there, we can hear you.
Why we have enough security operatives on ground.
Okay.
But I think where we have a very big problem is the INEC itself. Because before the election, people made it the point of call to make sure that they have a network of callers all around different polling centers and units across Edo State.
Okay.
So while the election was going on, while the correction was also taking place, we asked the INEC officials to also upload all the results to their server. Because agents was also on ground checking these people if they are doing their job perfectly.
Okay.
So when every center collates their result and they do the accounting, you found the APC, PDP, and the Labour results very substantial. They will start counting. Mm-hmm. So all the general coalition we had from people all around Edo and different units, they will tell you the result and will paste it on the net. And what we now get to hear last night's show this morning was a very touchy thing. It was like reverse was the case. Mm. In my center where I voted in Ifetayo was 1 unit 17. Mm-hmm. PDP had all the results over there. Mm. But when they were calling the result yesterday, as in the last one is Ifetayo. That is where Ifetayo is. Mm-hmm. I was very shocked when I heard that APC also still won that same center. So the problem we have right now is not the people working on ground, it's not the security operatives, but the INEC official.
Wow.
I don't know whether they don't want this country to move forward because everything was done properly the way it should do.
All right. Thank you.
So it is very disheartening and very painful because me as a person, this is the last time I will go and vote in this country.
No.
Now that's one of the issues we are trying to address, Stephen. I don't know if Stephen is still on the line.
Because our vote does not count anymore.
So
waste your time, waste your effort. Even when they were doing vote buying, most sincere Nigerians do not want to collect money. Mm. I don't collect money. Just come and collect.
So they came to you. They came to you to offer you money.
Yes, it was happening in those states. Don't start calling them.
don't have to call
need to
names.
go
You don't
to-
have to call names.
You don't have to call names.
Good. They were doing vote buying. But we said no, let's stand for sincerity, let's stand for peace, let's stand for justice. So this country, we have a very big problem in the INEC sector. And if Nigeria must go forward, then we'll start doing transparency from that particular place. Police were just looking at everybody. Nobody stole that ballot box, nobody did anything. But INEC, in the end of everything, is our biggest problem.
Wow.
Thank you very much and good
Thank you, Stephen, for that first-hand information. You know, I'm sure Adeniyi Ifetayo heard everything that Stephen was saying and explaining, and two major things jumped out at me. He said at the ward where he voted and everything, they counted it, and the People's Democratic Party was leading. But by the time it was announced, the APC had the highest vote from what was announced. Also, he mentioned that that was the last time he was going to go out to vote. That's a very disturbing statement, you know, and concerning statement. And this is starting to be the reality of some of our youths, because it's as though we take the process of going to get our voters card, risk everything to go out to vote, and at the end of the day, our votes do not count. I know we had hopped the beat from that conversation, but having Stephen's first-hand information will take us back to that. Adeniyi Ifetayo, you heard everything Stephen from Benin, a live witness, you know, had to say this morning. Please react to it.
Yes, it is very disturbing, but the only thing I appreciate the fact that as long as he said when the result was read out at that polling unit, I'm sure whoever the party voted for, the agent was present, and the other party agents, they were also present, and I'm sure that result was signed. And I'm sure in this age and time, I'm sure they will have taken a picture of that result. So the hope of the masses is for them to contest and challenge those results at the what's called in judiciary, maybe at the appeal or election tribunal rather. So they can challenge that. And I want to appeal to Stephen, no, don't give up. You have the fact. Then when it is time they are collating evidence and all of that, that's when you can step forward, you know, and come out as a witness that this is what actually happened and prove it. I'm sure they will have snapped it or shared the result. And at the end of the day, we've seen where an election was conducted and the result was overturned by court based on evidence. So, Stephen, don't lose hope. That is what you can still do. That is your franchise, and nobody can deny you of that.
Okay, just before Olumide comes in, you stated that Stephen can actually, you know, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you talking about him being a witness or a giving a sort of testimony?
Yeah. Yes. Since he said he wants a country that is integrity, ruled by integrity, justice, and peace, and all of that. And I'm sure he's fighting for the soul of Edo State. Those are one of the things that you can do. You continue to share it. This was the result. Paste it. And I'm sure they will reach out to him. And I'm sure some of these people, they are listening now.
So
they can reach out to him. Let's have what you have. Then those are the things they can table at the electoral tribunal.
So what is the safety of Stephen? Because if you were going to look at it, he also needs to consider his safety. What can be done to guarantee that Stephen is going to be safe? But you know the interesting thing, Stephen is back on the line. Thank you for calling again, Stephen.
Okay. Yeah, once again, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think I appreciate your spokesperson that is talking.
Our analyst, Adeniyi Ifetayo.
Yes, the analyst. I think that he's talking from America. He's not living in Nigeria, residing in Nigeria.
He resides there.
Yes, those things is a norm here, because they said the ICC will go to court. Yes, while they are going to court, the man is being reinstated as the governor and all that. So you keep going to court for the next 4 years. So we are already on ground. We're not talking from an angle of being not realistic. But then what is really on ground happening? You are saying I should come to court and give witness. In which court I'm going to go witness? In Nigeria, if you don't have a mighty pusher, in Benin, the local say, the guy not get mouth. Who has mouth in Benin? somebody who has everything, who has money, who has the clout and all that. That's what it tells in Nigeria right now. You stop chasing shadow and face the facts. Election has been done. People are not happy. You are carrying people's mandate to a different person. Okwewolo is from APC. A man who cannot even expect himself. A man who is going to give up insecurity as a governor. And somebody who is there who is very sound. Yes, they are both from the same part of Edo. So they said the further has to bring the governorship at the zoning area is from the Ishan. And these two are from the same area. But we are saying, yes, the same man who wants, a man who is sound, a man who we see in the antecedent, a man who has ruled in different capacities, one who will come our governor, and you are giving us somebody that we know cannot take us to the next level. And you are saying we should come and give. We are telling you what entails on ground. That the election was free and fair. Everybody came to exercise their franchise, and the mandate was stolen from them in a twinkle of an eye. And it's done right there in the INEC. Okay, now, if you are going to court, whose report we believe? When in the centers, the election was conducted, the members, they signed, the agent was on ground, counting was there, we slapped, we upload, we had different calls from different centers from our friends who are around, and they don't even believe.
Okay.
And this is what we do in just 24 hours. So why don't the government, in order to be transparent, why don't we do for election via the internet? As we are voting, we are seeing it pasted on the internet. INEC should not be the one collecting again. We've gone past that era. Like Ghana,
All right.
you can vote from anywhere in the world.
All right, Stephen.
And you'll be seeing the elections.
Okay.
But now you have to start doing this paperwork and to now go to INEC. And what the INEC tells you is what you are going to be.
So we should transcend to electronic voting, electronic transmission of results, information well received.
Guys will come with different ways. They will steal our mandate from us each and every time.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts, Stephen. All right, Stephen, we have to wrap it up with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling us and for giving us this information. Adeniyi Ifetayo, Stephen is a bit burdened and concerned with your position. And I remember he said it's as though you're not in the country because...
Yes, I want to remind Stephen that even in 2008, the same thing happened where people came out to vote massively for their choice, and the whether the umpire or the politician thwarted it and all of that. But the man went to court with evidence here and there, and the result was upturned, and that was the former governor of Oshiomhole. And we've seen it also in Rivers State, where former governor Rotimi Amechi had won primary election, but some powerful politicians somehow substituted his name to Omeya, who was on the ballot box and contested the election and won. The man went to court and said, I should be the person on that ballot because I contested the primary, I won the primary, these are the results. And we have seen it in other cases. So if he says that, oh, he cannot work, I'm not going to follow the process or challenge the results, give them evidence. If this one say that, if A say that, B say that, C say that, we're still back to the square one. But if you truly desire the change, it's just making your little contribution. You might not even show your face. These are the results. This is what they call. It's recorded. I'm sure so many of them had phone when they are counting. I've covered the election in Edo State only yesterday, in the last 4 or 5 elections. So please, Stephen, see someone the courage. That's the only contribution you can make now. Don't say that because you are not that power. I'm sure the person you are trying to bring in, that you feel that he can take Edo to the next level, he has some kind of protection or voice. Say, you know, get voice. That one get voice. It's just your own contribution to make sure things are done. So don't lose hope. Like they said, judiciary is the, what do they put it that? For the common man, the hope of common man. Yeah. So if you feel that you're a common man, don't worry. Judiciary is there, you know, to be your hope.
All right, Adeniyi Ifetayo, thank you very much. But just before you go, on the under a minute or 30 seconds, let's look at this. Fresh tariff hike looms as monthly power subsidy hits 181 billion naira. Now, I don't know how many appliances you put off a day or how you try to manage power, but with this fresh tariff hike, what do you think might be the consequences on our economy in Nigeria?
Yeah, especially it's going to tax a lot of people. Even the little resources you have, you need to part with more. Regardless whether the appliances you have, there are some things that a must that you need to function, to make your home or your offices to run smoothly. So it's just government. What I will advise people should look at alternative of sources of energy. On the long run. In the last 3 years, I've not even talked about whether band A or band B because I've been running on alternative energy. So people should also, in this country, you'll be the one to generate your light, generate your water, or whatever it is, have your security. Those are the responsibility of government. Hey, I want to say, please, you need to look after yourself. If not, the little resources you are making, government might end up draining you from your hard-earned resources.
All right, that's a very fantastic place to land this morning. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Adeniyi Ifetayo. It's been a delight speaking with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday and do well to get enough rest.
Yes, thank you. I always do that.
All right.